There is, of course, still the FA Cup final to go. First things first, I mean, I think of Aguero, I think of maybe 99 as pretty good title races, but where does this one rank?
I think it was really good. Probably died out a couple of weeks ago for obviously Liverpool dropping out of it, and it took a little bit off it, because I think what we would have loved is it to go down to the final day, all three teams be involved. But I think going into the game, knowing that Manchester City, it was in their hands, it just felt inevitable that it was going to happen. But it's been superb to watch Arsenal improve after last season and learn from mistakes and to push Manchester City right up until that final day has been an improvement. However, they've still fallen short, and that's the difficult thing. I was actually speaking to someone about this yesterday, saying, do you understand what it means now for what Liverpool fans have gone through, where yes, it's been great football and things like that, but they've still fallen short so many years on the bounce because of how good Manchester City are. This Manchester City team is incredible. It really is, with an incredible manager as well.
Yeah.
4 in a row. Sue, sum up how big an achievement that is.
Oh, it's incredible. And I think what Stephen was saying there, sometimes, you know, you can't really fault Arsenal and Liverpool. Sometimes you've just got to say, Manchester City have just been too good, because, you know, it's difficult to see a weakness in this Manchester City side. I know partway through the season we were saying, well, there's times where teams can counter-attack them quickly and get at them, and maybe they'll concede goals that way. But I think when it really matters, they stop that. You know, the manager, like you mentioned, Pep Guardiola, tactically, how astute he is, how he keeps evolving this side. He doesn't just stay still. He doesn't just say, oh, well, we're champions, we're the best team. He goes, well, how can we be even better next year? And he'll come up with some tactical master plan that we probably haven't seen before. And I just think there's just so much quality throughout the team. When there's Kevin De Bruyne is out injured, Haaland's out injured, Phil Foden comes in, Alvarez comes in, and they take that mantle of being that key player to go and win them games. So I just think they're an outstanding side, and to do it 4 consecutive seasons is just unbelievable, and there's a reason why it hasn't been done before. I
think there's another thing that we often don't look at is, and it probably comes down to the planning behind the scenes. They always get stronger at the end of the season, whereas other teams seem to fatigue. And that is incredible, to be able to think that their strongest point of the season is arguably 2-3 months out, whereas everyone else is sort of struggling to get over the line. And we always talk about too many games, a fixture congestion. They never look like they always look like they've got energy. I mean, we can talk about the Champions League game against Real Madrid. Probably should have won that game.
Yeah,
so it wasn't a fatigue factor from them on that point. But yeah, incredible.
So they know when. Sorry, I was going to say they know when to peak, don't they? At the right time. I think that's important. And the other thing, the words that was being used at the start of the season was, will they be complacent? You know, they've done it all. Will they just go into this season and go, oh well, we can't really motivate ourselves? Absolutely not. And they've showed, haven't they? They've got a manager who wants to win everything. They've got players that want to continue to win everything, and they've got that mentality that you just feel like they'll just keep going and they'll just want more.
But it is that mental strength, isn't it, to do it for 4 seasons in a row. 7 of them were regulars in that season who are still there. 8, 9 were amongst that team. To go week in, week out, to be the team in the land that everyone wants to beat, and to turn up throughout all those games. Physically, yes, tough, but mentally, that's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. It helps when you've got quality coming through the door every summer and adding to the ranks. You look at the players that they've signed, like Guardiola's been incredible, hasn't he? I mean, when you think of him, Kovacic, we all knew his qualities, but he's actually bedded in quite well as well. It's probably second half of the season. Doku, I mean, you look at his performances and you think, I mean, the age, 21, 22, and you go, my word, what a career he's going to have in front of him. So it helps when you bring new bodies into the door, into the changing room, because that adds competition, that adds ambition as well into that squad. And I think what it is, I mean, I don't want to highlight him because everyone always does it, but you look at Jack Grealish, the way he celebrates over the summer. Celebrates because, like, you've got to celebrate these moments and enjoy them. But you understand why you're having a full summer of enjoying yourself because of the hard work that's gone in. and what you've achieved at the end of it. I mean, there'll be other players who celebrate, but they'll do it a little bit more understated. Yeah. But no, I think it's an incredible mental strength to be able to do it.
Well, it's like they lose Gundogan, they lose Mahrez, don't they? And you think two key players, and yet, yes, they bring in that quality. But again, it's a manager that knows maybe when to release players, when to let players go. He seems to do that at the right time. So, yeah, I think you can't help but praise, can you, the manager and the players for what they've achieved.
Yeah, 38 games a season, 4 seasons, 152 matches. They've been bang on it all the way through. Yes, there have been slips, and there were suggestions perhaps that City haven't been at their best this season. Would you refute those?
No. I struggle to understand that. I just think the competition's got better. In and around. I think you look at the improvement of teams, you look at Aston Villa who've improved, Chelsea have improved this season, Liverpool got better from last season, Spurs improved. I think when you look at all that and you add all that into the mix, they're going to take points off the top boys, and that is going to be just the way things are. But yeah, I just think people who say that they're not at the best or they were better last season, they're better last season because they win the treble. That's arguably why, and you look at it from that point of view. But no, once they're sort of humming, they're incredible to watch.
So do they eclipse, say, the Man United team of '99, or?
Can't do hypotheticals on this show, Rob.
But are they the best? Okay, let's narrow it down, because the Liverpool team, the late '70s into the '80s, were incredible. Arsenal have had their invincible season that they will always point to. Manchester United, they were incredible teams under Sir Alex. Is this the best ever?
I think when you look at points tallies and you take into consideration that, then you'd have to say that they are the best. I think, listen, they've just won four Premier Leagues back to back. They've eclipsed everything that anyone else has done. So that tells you that they are the best team. Yeah. I find it very difficult to have an argument against it. There obviously will still be a lot of talk about the situations off the pitch and the breaches of the 115 going against them. But if you take that out of it and you look at the players and the staff and what they've achieved, it is quite brilliant.
Chelsea double over under Mourinho. Free scoring under Ancelotti. Could have included those before I get messages. There is a but coming.
Is that a typewriter?
Yeah, it was. No, you never used the typewriter?
No.
Oh, okay.
Far too young for that, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be quiet. Is there a cloud, though, on this wonderful silver lining, or are we reading too much into those quotes from Guardiola, who said, the reality is I'm closer to leaving than staying? He's got one more year left on his current deal. Look into Susan James Cecilia Smith's crystal ball and tell me what will happen.
I don't think any of us, well, I say any of us, I'm sure Manchester City's competitors probably want Pep Guardiola to go because of how successful he's been. But I think Manchester City fans, I think fans of the Premier League want him to stay in the Premier League as long as possible because of the great football that he plays, like say the way that he keeps evolving this side and getting them better, the character that he is. But at some point, he is going to leave Manchester City, obviously similar to Jurgen Klopp going. You know, I think so many people are disappointed to see that because you want these fantastic managers in our league continuing to do what they do. But yeah, at some point, but I just think at the moment he still seems hungry, doesn't he? He still seems that was massive for him, winning another Premier League title, the 4th consecutive one. But how long can he keep going? How long can he keep sort of motivating himself? Because he's very, you can see it's everything to him, and he has to live and breathe that, doesn't he?
Intense,
and he's intense, and that will be difficult, I suppose, to keep doing. At some point, I'm sure he will need a rest, but I don't think any of us want to see it soon.
But I think that's also why he has a turnover of players, because players listening to that same message all the time and how intense he is would find that, I imagine, quite difficult day to day to continue that. I know you're successful with it, but there becomes a point where you're like, this is hard to continue to play at this level and this intensity for so long, and I think that's why he brings in new players constantly.